Namaste, Green Wave. It's Miss Amy, and today we are mindfully going to make the almond flour chocolate chip cookie baking mix. So we are going to follow the directions right from the box on how to make a gluten-free and vegan chocolate chip cookie. So again, if you're vegan, you're not eating any animal products. So this is another alternative. It's another healthy way to eat. Maybe you've tried a gluten-free vegan cookie before, or maybe you haven't. I got this box from Trader Joe's, so I'm literally going to follow the directions from the box, but you can buy flour that isn't wheat based. So for example, there's the cassava cauliflower blend baking mix with cassava and fonino flours and cauliflower powder. So this is from cassava. It's a yucca plant. So it's starchy and behaves much like wheat flour in baking. So this is another alternative if I wasn't, using the box package, as well as almond flour, or actually almond meal. You can buy, again, already grinded up. So these are almonds that were grinded up. So again, if you had any nut allergies, you would not use almond flour, but if you were vegan or gluten-free, this is another alternative to use almond flour. This is the same flour that's used in the box, but again, this is already measured and ready for us to bake with today. So just by following the directions on the side panel, it says, love chocolate chip cookies, but can't do gluten. Haven't found a vegan cookie you can really sink your teeth into. Trader Joe's almond flour chocolate chip cookie baking mix turns both of these dilemmas into delicious solutions. A quick mix with a few staple ingredients and a speedy bake, 10 minutes, are all it takes to make quality cookies gluten-free and vegan in your kitchen anytime the cookie craving commences. So there's just about 3 ingredients that are needed. So we're going to follow the directions right from the box. So it says items needed: 3 tablespoons of melted salted butter or vegetable oil, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, and 3 tablespoons of milk, dairy or non-dairy. So using what I have, I'm going to add in that yoga twist, the sister science of yoga, which is Ayurveda, that uses a lot of coconuts, again, which are good for the outside of our body as well as the inside of our body. So to make this a little extra healthier, I'm going to use coconut oil as my oil base. And I'm also going to use coconut milk for the milk part. And then I also have the vanilla. So I have my measuring tools already ready. I have 1 tablespoon, and this is 1 teaspoon. So again, mindfulness and math go hand in hand together. So we are going to follow the directions and bake these almond flour chocolate chip cookies. So it says preheat oven to 350 degrees, which I've already done. So the oven is preheated and ready to roll. And then it says in a medium bowl, mix butter or oil and vanilla to combine. So first we're adding in those 2 liquids. So I have to measure 3 tablespoons of melted salted butter or vegetable oil. And again, I'm going to use coconut oil. So we have to do 3 tablespoons. So I'm going to pour that in. We have 1. And then we have 2. And then we have 3. So again, I'm substituting coconut oil for our butter and our vegetable oil. Then it says 2 teaspoons of the vanilla extract. So now I'm going to use the teaspoon tool because it's a little smaller. And I'm going to measure 2 teaspoons of the vanilla extract. So once again, using my senses, the vanilla smells really yummy. So we're going to do 1 teaspoon first. Pour that in. And 2. And before I stir it up, we can notice how the vanilla and the coconut oil look even before I mix it up. Almost looks like a lava lamp, the way the oil is separating. So we are going to mix this up because that's what the directions say. So we are mixing first the coconut oil and the vanilla. So again, they have been mixed. Then it says add baking mix and stir in to incorporate. So we're not going to pour in the whole box at one time. We're going to pour in a little bit at a time. So again, this is a very simple way to make cookies with these 3 simple ingredients. So right from the package, there's our almond flour and our chocolate chips are mixed in there. So again, we're gonna add a little bit of a time, and then it says add milk 1 tablespoon at a time as needed until the dough comes together. So again, that's gonna be 3 tablespoons of the milk. So we're gonna carefully open this up. As we start to pour in our almond flour. So I'm going to pour in a little bit, and then I'm going to stir it up. So nice and simple, following each step, 1 step at a time, 1 breath at a time. Mixing it up. Ooh, it smells really delicious. Again, adding some more in. Mixing it up. As you can see, it's changing its color, it's changing its shape as the dry ingredients start to mix with the wet ingredients. So we're making the dough as we stir it all up, and I can really smell the almonds. I can smell that chocolate. I smell the vanilla. I smell the coconut. And I'm going to add a little bit more, but since I see that it's becoming dry, I'm going to add in a little bit more now of the coconut milk. So now it says 3 tablespoons of coconut milk. So again, I'm going to mindfully pour in. We have 1, and it says to pour in 1 tablespoon at a time. So I'm going to keep mixing the dough here because we're going to need 2 more tablespoons of the coconut milk to complete the instructions, to complete the recipe. And I still have more of the dry ingredients to add in. So again, adding a little at a time. And even if you aren't vegan or gluten-free, this is a fun way to try something new. And, many grocery stores already have these, ready to go mixes. So you don't even have to do something from scratch to try it out, to start, to acquire the taste. Because sometimes it can be a different taste. And again, everyone has different taste buds, just like we all have different scent buds in our nose. Sometimes we might love the smell of a rose and sometimes you might not. So it's the same with, you might love chocolate, or maybe you really love, Sour Patch Kids, so just being aware of our senses and not being afraid to try something new. So now I'm going to add in the next tablespoon of our milk. And I'm going to add in more of our dry ingredients. And as I mindfully mix up the batter, again, it's changing shape, it's changing color, it's changing the texture. And again, following the directions, I'm not pouring all 3 tablespoons of the coconut milk at one time. Again, the box is usually right. So again, just being mindful, reading the label, so we have our cookie turn out delicious. And now I'm going to add in the last of the flour, or the almond flour. So again, very, very simple, right from the package. And we'll add in that final tablespoon of the coconut milk. Again, use what you have. If you had cow's milk, then it wouldn't be vegan, right? But you could still, use that if you, weren't vegan. So again, always use what you have. So we're gonna, again, mix all of this up. So you can see it's transformed from the solid into this more of a liquidy type of solid, right? It transformed. And then we are going to roll these into small little balls and put them on the cookie sheet. And it's said to have wax paper. So I already have the wax paper on the pan. So now that I have my pan nearby with my parchment paper, with my wax paper, I am going to use the tablespoon spoon to scoop out. So it's already, in a ball-like shape, and just being mindful of where I place them. So when they cook, they're going to expand a little bit. So again, we will be mindful of where we place the cookies. So again, scooping out a scoop of the batter. The oven was preheated to 350 degrees. And then it says to bake for 10 minutes. So after I do the first batch, I'm going to set a timer for 10 minutes. And they should be done by then. I notice the batter is a little sticky, so it's not it's not that easy to scoop out these cookies. Sometimes using another spoon can be helpful to guide it out of the tablespoon. So I'm just going to start with 6 cookies because I'm not sure how much they're going to expand. So I'm being mindful to know that they're going to expand. So this is what the cookies look like before they go into the oven. And then we will practice mindfulness to see how they will turn out after 10 minutes. So I'm going to put this in the oven and put the timer on for 10 minutes. So I just put the cookies in the oven and set the timer for 10 minutes. So we will check in on them in 10 minutes. So the timer just rang. I'm going to put on my oven mittens so I don't get burned to take out the cookies. So again, we can notice, practice mindfulness before and now after of our cookies. They are very hot as they're fresh out of the oven. And I'm going to take the spatula to put them on the cooling rack so they will cool down before I eat them. So here are our final cookies. They look and smell delicious, as you can see. We can mindfully notice the difference, how they've transformed, how they've changed shape, and they are cooling on the cooling rack. They were a little tricky to get off the pan, as you can see. It was a little tricky. They get a little sticky. But that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. Even though the cookie may crumble, it is still really good. They are really chewy, but as you can see, they crumble a lot, but still really delicious as a vegan and gluten-free cookie. So sometimes this might happen, but that's okay. Keep trying, try again. Again, our cookies, they came out beautiful, even if they weren't perfect. But even if it crumbles, it's still a great cookie. It's just like a crown. When a crown breaks, it's still, you can still color with it, right? Same with cookies. Even if the cookie crumbles, we can still mindfully eat our cookie. So that is our almond flour chocolate chip vegan gluten-free cookie, because sometimes you have to treat yourself with a little sweetness.